Hello, my friends. It's FM26. We are starting with the women's team from VfL Wolfsburg. I'm going to be treating this as a full beta save and taking you through an entire season or maybe two with the team to see if we can retake our place at the top by overtaking Bayern Munich. This is my first look at FM26. I wasn't part of any alpha testing or anything like that, so I am going to be looking at some of the screens and maybe pointing out some stuff you didn't see in those other videos too. I will also be streaming with the men's team from Dortmund. Also a thing trying to topple Bayern. Got an anti-Bayern bias on this channel. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss all the content I'm going to be cranking out. I'm going to be doing daily videos and or live streaming or both as I make my return to FM content creation. Now when I got started, I didn't create the manager first. I just clicked let's do a save and then you pick your manager as you go. I just want the manager to match Wolfsburg women. And then we've created this lovely human being who definitely looks like me. I do find this a bit odd that you can't just say, just give me whatever is relevant. I've had to go through the screens. I'll show that to you real quickly. I chose lower league veteran. Originally I didn't play above amateur level because that's true. But when you do that, the reputation takes a hit. I did like punditry, commentator, and like part-time. But to actually get something that makes sense, I've gone with Continental Pro, Continental reputation, with the manager as coaching, and a lower league veteran because I don't want to lose the locker room in the first game because I'm some actual American scrub coming off the street. I've selected attacking, energetic, and entertaining football because I enjoy watching that and also because Wolfsburg has historically been very good and I've looked at some of their recent results. They had an 11-0 win recently. We'll pick driven and resilient because you know I love a determined player. And this is how we end up with, as you can see here, some really good looking mental attributes, some decent coaching attributes. Is that enough for Wolfsburg women? I don't know. Let's go find out. So we got a new media room here with actually, looking cameras. That's nice. You can see my lovely image there. I'm probably not going to look at that again. So this is the screen it goes to next. I'm going to actually go through the tutorials. If you haven't seen the interviews that Miles has done from SI, he talks about you need to do the tutorials this year because this is not a continuation of FM24. It's a new game. So they've looked at all the testing players that are new to the game, pick up the UI relatively quickly. Folks like myself or you maybe that are watching this video that have 500, 700, 800, 1,000 hours in every football manager, you've got to unlearn what you've learned. So I'm not going to do that on camera for me. It saved time for you to do that, but it is recommended, so make sure you do it. So we start off with 500 grand in transfer budget. We spent none of that thus far. I was a little confused at this at the beginning, but it's essentially saying I've got 15 grand available. That's not my budget because I'm currently spending 56. So the actual budget is whatever, 70, 71 grand, something like that. So I've got a little bit of wiggle room in my budget. I'm not sure how much players are getting paid. Let's go check. Okay, this is the squad screen as it looks right now. I have seen that you can add your own custom columns, so we're going to do that now. You can move columns relatively easily. You see this lovely white bar? Oh, they've fixed the ability to move columns. Get in. Get in. I've added the wages and the expiration dates. The thing I was most interested in with the women's is they say contracts, transfers are very different. Obviously, shorter contracts, not as many clauses. So I want to take a look at that to kind of get a feel for what we're dealing with here. As you can see, I do like this. That's such a small but nice addition. The little change of color of the icon to say this contract is expiring in the next year to get your attention and not just having to sort it by date. That's a nice thing. So let's look at Joelle Veldemeyer here. She is one of our players whose contract is expiring in 330 days. That is such a nice little thing. I love the little graph showing the duration, how long she's had the contract for, how close she is to being done. It's got obviously the same things that we've seen in previous editions, but I think it's formatted much more nicely. One of the things that really frustrated me about FM in the past is I play on a 1440p monitor. I know not everybody does. Some people play on 4K, some people are playing on 1080p or smaller. But I just felt there was so much screen real estate that was wasted. This is a much better utilization of that screen real estate. Now it is smaller. You could just say the space above my head here and on the other side is also not really being utilized, but the text is bigger and it's a little bit more in your face, and I really like that. Now one of the stars and one of the players that I already knew that was on Wolfsburg is Alexandra Popp. She's played for the German national team. I've seen her play against the US women's national team. Look at those attributes. 20 on heading, 19 on finishing, 19 on strength. Goodness me. And she is a target forward. She can play the center forward. She is our top current ability player in the squad. And we've got her in contract until the end of the year. Great. I realized I was missing best position. You know, you're used to seeing players that they play all these roles. I don't see an option to do that right now. I'm still looking around, but I've added what the assistant manager says their best position is, just so we can take a look here and you go, oh, wait a minute. We've got a striker, really a target forward, complete forward type player. We got a DM, and we have two right wingers that are all 4-star, which is a bit interesting. And 3 of the 4 of them's contracts are expiring in a year, so we should probably get on that. Unfortunately, we are already starting with some injuries, including to Sophia Kleinhern, I believe is how you say that. She's out for 2 to 4 months with a partially torn thigh. This is what the new medical center looks like, which I think is kind of interesting. And Sophia is our 5th best player on the roster. It plays right back. Our best right and left back are both injured. At least Linder here is out for just maybe 4 weeks to 2 months. So, okay, tactics. Since I do play on a bigger monitor, I've already added to the bookmarks that come in the game. I got 12 bookmarks here, including to the fixture, because I miss being able just to click onto the schedule. I know it's up here with calendar, but then you got to click fixtures. I'd rather just go straight to the fixtures. I'm probably just going to leave this. Usually I do all the friendlies myself and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just going to leave it so we can play through it. We got a testimonial against, this is Lyon, which is what I thought, but obviously doesn't have the badge, doesn't have the name because they don't have the license for the French league. The new supporter screen here in the inbox, in the messages, highlights why I was drawn to Wolfsburg women. Wolfsburg women for the longest time were like premium in Germany, but they've fallen off recently as Bayern Munich have spun up and gotten better. As you can see here, since the 2012-2013 season up until 2021/22, Wolfsburg women won the league 7 out of 10 times. They also, much further in the past, 2013 and 2014, won the Champions League. But they've kind of fallen off. They have continued to win the cup, but in the Champions League, they're not getting as far. They got to the group stage in the last season. So instead of taking over a club like Arsenal, who just won the Champions League, or Chelsea, who are loaded with talent and should just walk the Women's Super League, I wanted a little bit of a challenge, and that's why I selected Wolfsburg. And that history is reflected on this screen. They want us to become the most reputable team in Germany, to play direct football, which surprises me a little bit, and to forge a higher reputation than Bayern Munich, who have kind of won the last several leagues. Luckily for us, the board just want us to work within the wage budget and reach the latter stages of the Women's Champions League. Again, I'm not sure how much later that is, but if you highlight over it, once you click in to talk to the board, it says at least the quarterfinal of the Women's Champions League. Obviously, we need to qualify for that, be competitive in the German Cup, which is interesting considering they've won the Cup so many times. And the club doesn't care about the Super Cup and just like over time become more reputable in Germany. Now, when you click on the club, this seems overwhelming to me, but again, I was just complaining about the lack of screen real estate being utilized in FM24. This is much better. It's just, I'm not used to it, so I've got to take time as an experienced player to get used to this. I'm just trying to find the history to make sure I understand which cup that they've won. Okay, there it is. 0 Super Cups and 11 German Cups, which I was wondering if, some of those W's on the Wikipedia page were maybe the Super Cup. Nope, they have won the German Cup 11 times. My goodness. I think I just did that I thought was a bit confusing. So when I clicked on the club and it took me here, I clicked on overview thinking that would take me to the portal overview, but it's actually the club overview. So that threw me off for a little bit. But things that I really like on this screen, here, it's showing that I have 11 vacant roles and 16 vacant roles in recruitment. That is insane, honestly. But instead of having to count the little heads on the previous screens in FM24, it just tells you what you've got open. Nice touch. I'm loving the staff overview screen. This is so much nicer in terms of being very clear what's open, what's not. So as you can see, we've got room for 6 coaches plus a set piece coach. So as you can see here, we've got room for 6 coaches, a set piece coach, a head performance analyst, 3 more performance analysts, and a load of scouts and recruiting. So I've got some work to do. I haven't found it yet. I don't know if this exists. It would be really nice if there was a button to just say, place an advert for everything we've got open instead of having to go by section, coaching, scouting or recruiting, and medical, and do it one by one. You've got those staff members that apply to multiple roles, like maybe they're performance analysts, maybe they're recruitment analysts. They're kind of good at both, but I wish I could just say, give them all to me. Now, I'm not seeing any coaching team comparison here or any indication of what we're good at. I'd like to see what my coaches already are good for. You just have that graph underneath the number of staff members that you had. And just to show you, this is the box that pops up. It's a little bit bigger than it used to be. When you click on the finances tab, we have 365,000 euros in the bank, but it's projecting will be almost 3 million in the hole by the end of the season. Great. Okay, I'm a little concerned here that Our best rated center back is Guro Bergsvand, and she's injured for another 2 months, and she's 2.5 star. Behind her is Camilla Cuver, who's a 2.5 star, and Caitlin Dijkstra, who's also two. I think we have a problem at center back. Okay, the assistant manager was recommending we play wing play, catenaccio, or counterattack fluid. So I've gone with wing play because that sounds more exciting and it's more direct. And because I don't trust our center backs, out of possession, I think we'll start with a 4-1-4-1 to get some additional protection. I'm not opposed to maybe doing like a 2DM type system. I'm not sure how that would work, but we'll figure it out. And maybe someday we'll be able to see the number of minutes a player played. Alas, you can't change these columns. That's one of the first things I looked at. I really like the new squad introduction. You used to have that screen when you first joined, like it was like announcing that you joined with like the players rotating through. This is actually showing you who your key players are. Papa's our captain. Huth is our vice captain. Janina is another important player in the spine of the team. Unfortunately, our youth development is below average. I think for this save, that's okay because we're not going to be here very long and we've got gaps, so we're going to go to the transfer market. I have a strange interest in the substitution rules of all the various leagues, so this one is 5 subs from 3 stoppages for a maximum of 9 named. This is, again, a nicer representation of what we used to see in FM24. Bigger text, easier to read. So I set up my first recruitment focus. What I find interesting is you can name it whatever you want, which is a nice little touch. Like if you're looking for Brazilian CBs, it doesn't just say CB or whatever it used to say in FM24. We clearly have a center back problem, so we're going to call it center backs. I've done 15 to 34. I've made it top. We don't have any scouts beside our chief scout, I don't think. We'll see what happens. I thought I could get cheeky here by looking for center backs that are natural center backs and unhappy, but we don't have anybody in the database. Okay, I'm not sure I love this setting a friendly screen because when you click on the calendar, it just shows you the dates that aren't available. It doesn't show you what games are coming up. Obviously, you could see the games here kind of grayed out, if you will, but I miss being able to see, oh, that's not an important game that's coming up, so I can throw another friendly in there. That's a little wonky. I'm trying to get us as much match time as possible before the season actually starts. We have the Super Cup against Bayern on August 24th, so I picked up Hamburger SV, as you know them as Hamburg. 4.73K fee, and we're going to generate nearly 16 grand in income. Considering our bank balance and expected projected balance, I think that's a good thing to do. This is another view of the attributes, some mental attributes. I always like to look at this. We've got a decently determined squad, not exceptionally so. The backline has zero flair whatsoever. Not a lot of flair going on in the entire team, to be honest with you. But a really good work rate across the entire squad, so that's good. Technically, I like our passing across the board. That looks pretty good. Our finishing is a little suspect. It's essentially Alexander Pop and Lineth Berenstein, correct me in the comments. And then Huth on a 15, whose first touch is legit. So she's also going to be our corner taker and pinging in a lot of crosses as a center back. She also can play right wing, but we kind of have a lack of depth in the center of the park. So she's going to play there for right now while we go to the transfer market and figure some stuff out. Physically, we're pretty good. We've got really good acceleration for Lineth as well. So we should be trying to get balls to her on the left side when we are doing the counterattacking. Natural fitness is high amongst the squad. Agility is really good, especially in the attacking third, maybe the middle of the park as well. And again, Lineth is legit 19 acceleration and pace. She is a rocket. Goodness me. Okay, I'm a little confused on my tactics, and I've clicked visualizer hoping I could find it. Doesn't pop up. Oh, it's the team instructions thing. I've heard this referred to as the visualizer so often I thought it was a separate thing. So it's just under team instructions. So what I'm trying to get out of my tactic, if we go back here to the shape, in possession, we're in a 4-3-3. We have a wide forward who stays wide, has goal threat, uses a lot of her good attributes. We have a winger on the right. Since the winger is going to be bombing forward, we put Huth, who's usually a winger, as the attacking midfielder because she is quite good at that. Look at all of those attributes. So she's going to kind of hold down that kind of like number 10, but deeper and get forward. You can see the fine space between lines indicated by the red arrow here. So everybody's going forward. We have Pop in the middle. And then these two are kind of playing central midfielder, and then I almost put halfback or halfback because our center backs are so poor. We're going to work on that again in the transfer market. And I've changed there was a wing back here and a full back here. They're both better at just being wing backs. And again, we're playing wide play, so I want to get them forward. But out of possession in defense, we've dropped everybody to a 4-1-4-1. I've got a holding fullback to help out that back line, a screening defensive midfielder who is cautious and holds position so we don't want her getting forward. We could have her do a dropping defensive midfielder. We'll kind of have to see how that plays out. The only thing I've really changed is these positions. They were all in a 4-1-4-1. I've just changed it, so I want the outlet, wide midfielder, wide outlet, wide midfielder, okay, on the left to stay high and counterattack, because again, she's got that incredible pace. I'm hoping that gives us, I guess, the defensive stability to then launch those counterattacks and still have the wing play mentality that we're looking for. When we go to look at the team instructions, though, you can kind of see here in the defensive third, Huth is actually more forward than Buse, and we've got the wing backs. Again, this is in possession, a little bit higher. So I'm wondering if that's going to get a little cramped. But this is in the defensive third. In the middle third, you can see how they kind of stretch out. Pop is still not getting too far forward, but she's got essentially kind of a 10 here helping out these two. And then the attacking third, this is how they're set up. I think that's good. I think that gives us a lot of stability here. I might want to drop one of the wingbacks back just so we don't get counterattacked on. Out of possession, you can see, again, defensive third, very compact, but we still have the outlet here with Bierenstein. Maybe that's how you say it. Got the mid block going here. Kind of a 5, if you will. Oh, okay. That tells them what instructions to have. I don't want to give instructions. I just want to, I see. Okay. And then if we're doing, out of possession in the attacking third, they're running backwards essentially at this standpoint. At this point, I'm not going to do anything with these because the tactic system is so new. I do love this though. I saw this in the previews. I think this is amazing having these because it really helps out going like, oh, that's where I should expect my players to go. So if you go, boy, we really need to get her a little bit more forward or have the wingback invert, you can see that visually. This seems very balanced to me, so I'm happy with it. Okay, I did have a glitch where continue wasn't working, so I saved and reloaded the file and hit continue, and it seems to be fixed. So if you run into that, try reloading your save. Considering we don't have any scouts beside our chief scout and we're kind of in a critical period of the year where you need scouts, I have done a scout search in the staff just to see what it's like. You do have to deselect if the staff is interested in these things, or is that your staff is interested? I'm not sure because I have include staff turned off. So maybe this means if you're trying to just find people for your reserve team or youth team, you could do it that way. I'm not sure. And then I've gone into search and done scout, but then you have to do add attribute. I've added judging player ability and potential as very good. When you do that, it's not, oh, it shows up here. Okay, that's a bit odd. I think there's enough space down here, to show that. It gives me 2 options. One of those is Mark Higgins at West Ham. He's the chief scout. Let's see what he wants. It says he's better at scout than, okay, it doesn't say chief scout. He's a scout. My guess is, since he's wanted by London City, he's probably going to stay put, but you never know. Does it say how long his contract is? Oh, it takes so long to get used to the contract. Okay, contract. He's not under contract, but he's with West Ham as a chief scout. I don't know what that's about. So let's see. Let's just say he doesn't have like an agent or anything. So let's approach to sign. I just want you to be a scout. I don't want you to be a chief scout. He's going to say no, but that's okay. Oh, I don't have any idea how much our existing staff makes. I guess I should have looked first. Staff. Let's go look at that first. I can't click on them. Can I review them? Okay, $850 for the director of football, $525 for the chief scout. How much am I making? I'm making 2.6 grand a week. Not a lot of money. Women's game, it's different, obviously. He wants a 4-year deal. That sounds fine. How about this, Mark? Board wanted us to get to the quarterfinals. We'll give you a bonus of 5 grand if you make the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And when we win the league, you'll get another 5 grand. I mean, that sounds easy peasy, yeah? I went down here automatically. It's all about unlearning the UI. Suggest terms. He wants to be chief scout. Offer me the job I've requested. Yeah, mate. Always locked it. Yeah. So that's no-go. So I'm introducing myself to the squad. As you can see here on the right, it gives you the options based off of the, essentially, characteristics and attributes you selected with your manager. So I chose attacking, entertaining, and energetic or something like that. So these are the things that you could tell the ladies that you're going to bring to the squad. I'm going to go with a real energy and passion to our work. Pop loves it. Or, okay, so you still click through all 3, I guess, because in the past, you had the options at the bottom that would say, hey, nope, I got 1 round of thumbs up from the squad, so I'm just going to leave it there. Have a good one. I don't see the option to do that. I know it's a beta, so maybe that's supposed to be there, but we're going to say all 3 things, and they're cool. I really want to build a culture of resilience here. I like that. I'm doing lots of convincing. So again, I'm curious if that is bugged or if you just have to click through all those, because at some point you have to say, like, just leave it. Like, I'm good, because some of the things may contradict, I guess, but we'll find out. We get an idea of what these mean. when I went in, the guy who accepted our contract for Scout renewed with Paris FC. When you click on very good, it bugs out and gives you 15. So good is a 12. The names did mean something. I think we knew that, and that's fine. I actually don't mind it because it's like, well, it's like somewhere in the middle between a 12 and a 14 if you're good. Sure. But I just think it's funny that they made a big deal of changing it and how natural it is. It's a bug. Hopping in here in the middle of the episode, if you're enjoying this, a like and a subscribe really does help the channel. If you're new around here, I'm restarting my channel after taking 2 years off of making FM content. My dad passed away in February, and a week later I was laid off. So I'm making FM content kind of my next thing if I can. So you can help with that by hitting like and subscribe. Maybe leaving a comment as to what you're seeing. There are other ways you can support the channel. I put those in the description below. Thanks for watching. All right, I've had a crash, but we've got back to where we are. We're going to play our first match. I have to put my headphones in because I haven't played with sound in an FM in a long time. One of the things I'm interested in is to see how the non-Premier League games are set up. Oh my gosh, look at all that text. Because they've highlighted in all of the videos the Premier League and the branding and all that kind of stuff. I want to see what the Bundesliga and obviously the Women's Bundesliga looks like. Tonight's all about Wendy Bernard, so just go out there and give her the match she deserves. It's a testimonial. No one cared. Okay, looks all right. No faces. Okay, because Leon is not licensed. Got it, but we get the faces. A little bit of a glitch there. I've got the sound turned down for the desktop, so I'm not sure how much you can hear it. Oh, you still get the walkout. That's nice. The score bug, the thing at the top here, is not centered. And that, I mean, it's centered, but like the actual score is not centered. That drives me personally crazy. I do have, just so you can see here, I have dynamic mode on. It's on extended highlights. That's interesting. I went ahead and bumped it up to 1.25. I thought 1.75 in the videos I saw of the alpha was way too fast. And I got the match speed boosting highlights as 30x. We're going to leave it on broadcast for right now. We're playing balanced in our wing play. We are, I guess, the green, not the white. I mean, that makes sense. I just think that could be a little bit more clear. Leon, okay, so we're going this way. I think at this speed, it's a little hard to tell, and I thought this was an issue when they first announced it. It's kind of hard to see what's really going on, and we're not getting any actual highlights. Okay, we're now at 9:38 here. Sambath building out of the back. Lawrence, this is for Leon, coming down the wing. Our DM is dropping here. We're kind of marking... Wait, you can't click the name. Oh, you can't click on the player to see who it is. Okay. Whoa! Rifles it into the 5th row. We'll take that. Johannes. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll leave it on broadcast. I mean, this is what it looks like, but I want to be able to see the shape a little bit. Okay, our wingback gets forward, runs into our winger. Pop. Okay, ball played in behind. Alexander Pop. Takes an extra touch. Was that an own goal? Or let's see what it says. We'll take it. First goal of FM26, my friends, goes to Alexander Pop. Okay, I like how the grass looks. Okay. Takes a touch. Cuts back inside. Maybe the thump we heard was it hitting off the goalkeeper's foot. Doesn't matter. We've scored. Get in. Tactical masterclass. 11 minutes into the match. Pop. Okay. There's our wing back. Okay, kind of getting congested. I kind of wondered if that was going to be a problem, but it works out. Pettimores. Plays it in. Pop again. Lays it off. Oh, it's... Was that... yeah, it's off the keeper. I couldn't tell if that was off the keeper or the bar. I do think... I mean, I watched a video the other day from FM24 from another content creator. Anybody complaining about this, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This looks so much better. Just from the presentation. People said the rain doesn't look great. It's like, showing off rain is kind of challenging because a lot of times I find on broadcasts of the Premier League, if it's raining, you could tell if it's like really pouring, but if it's just lightly, you kind of hard to tell. But in the game, as a player, you want to be able to see, oh, it's raining, so maybe I need to go longer or something like that. Headed in, plays it over. Poof. Another amazing save. Get in. Okay, our ratings are okay. And also, one of the reasons I want to play with the Women's League is to learn more about this. Okay, excellent. Okay, I don't like that pass, but oh gosh. Oh, the heavy touch. She gives it back up. Good save by Johannes. Get in. But, you know, to learn, because again, the names, I recognize some of the USWNT players because they play a lot in Europe. I recognize Pop from a German US women's friendly, but I've got an interest. So I also have 2 kids, and one of them is my daughter. So if she likes the game of footy, maybe this will be something of interest to her in the future as well. Lucy, headed down, interesting kind of, but I like the animation. My instinct at the 20th minute is to shout, but there are no shouts, so that's interesting. That was a lovely worked goal, to be fair. I was like, that's why I got quiet. I was just watching. That, I think, is a sign that it's a good set of animations. We're like, ooh, ooh. And I kind of got absorbed into it. A little 1-2, plays it back. And then, I mean, I think number 4, who is Hoover, has got to do better there. Keeper's never going to get to that. Never going to get to that. And now I can't encourage. Oh, we just have to accept it. That's so strange. We can always instant result, which I think is a great addition by SI. But we want to see what the game looks like. Who comes? Oh, she pings it off of the bar. Again, if I'm mispronouncing any of these names, please let me know. The thump sound of the dribbles is a little loud, I think. Nice outlet pass there. She's got the wing back supporting. Drop it off. There you go. Plays it back. Pop and Huth in the middle. Huth being that attacking midfielder, playing that 10 role like we talked about the tactics. Rifled shot by Lineth. Bierenstein, which is exactly how you say it. No correction needed in the comments, my friends. Feel free to correct me. I'm learning as we go. That was lovely. Lays it off. Touch forward. First time. Takes a touch. Bang. That was like fantastic goal. So it's a 2-1 game with a combined 1.57 XG between both teams. I'm not sure what that says. They've had a lot of the momentum. You can see here. Can I click this? Oh, I can. It bumps it out. Just saying, gonna say this doesn't show you a whole lot. Like, I'm assuming this is the end of the half, but we scored, so I'm not sure. Maybe this is the most recent part of the half, but maybe it's because we scored on the counter. This is one of my beefs. If you're gonna tell me number of shots, yes, you just showed it to me, but I was looking at new stuff. There's screen real estate here and here. I want to see the stats. Give me the match stats. I guess we'll go with that, and everyone loves it. I'm gonna turn that off to see if that gets rid of the sound. That's gotten rid of the thumping sound. I wish I could reduce it rather than just eliminate it. Brand coming down, but maybe it's because the camera's higher up, right? Okay, fantastic goal, to be fair. Okay, let's look at the subs. Okay, I have to remember how to do subs. I know you could do it here. I say show me the subs, but I don't know the team. So let's go to tactics. We have brought in, as you can see here, and I'll show this in the next episode, some center back, really backline reinforcements. We're gonna move Janina up there, and that means we're gonna bring on... The ones we brought in are not very good, you could say. But I brought them in on trial because that's a lot of what I do. And since I'm worried about injuries, honestly, I think I'm gonna sub both of them off. All right, so I just made a bunch of subs just to get practice at doing that, and because it is, you know, a game that doesn't really matter, I'm worried about injuries. We're gonna, you can do team talk first. Okay, they don't care because they're like, mate, it's a testimonial. I think I'm gonna hop us forward from there unless there's some crazy highlight, but I wanted to give a feel for what it feels like. We have given up a goal in the 93rd minute when there's 3 minutes added on. Here it is. Hegerberg on the right wing. Look at all the defensive players we have. Why is no one trying to cut her off? I mean, you've got the left center back running away and the right center back running towards her. Not our best moment, and we are going to lose this game. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Oh, she's hit the post. Oh, she's hit the post. So we learned a lot there, my friends. I think we've learned we need center backs and probably one rotation player up top, although I think we did okay there, maybe. Just wasn't beat. Okay, they like it. They like it. So we've not completely ruined the save at the very beginning. All right, my friends, if you've enjoyed that, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'm going to be putting out daily FM content. It'll be some of this. I'm also going to be streaming a Dortmund save on the men's side. I'll try to bring you back. I'm not sure how far I'll get, but I'm going to bring you back for the next game. Maybe it's against Bayern Munich in the Super Cup. Not sure how seriously that's taken. Wolfsburg's never won the Super Cup though, so we're going to take it as seriously as we can. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.